Hey, everybody, this is Liz coming to you today with a few technical difficulties, which tells me that this is going to be a great show for you to hear. So, I have a very special person here. I'm going to have him introduce himself, his name, and where he's from.
Yeah, my name is Marco Garcia, and I'm from Vancouver, Washington. Yeah.
Okay. And when did you first hear about Augusta?
I first heard, I didn't hear about well, first I watched Mike Andes on YouTube. I found them from watching YouTube videos when I was searching up like how to like market where to put yard signs for like I believe it was window cleaning that I did a couple years back, and I saw his video where he was like demonstrating, hey, put it like at the stop signs facing the way that the car is looking at before they go. And I didn't think nothing of it. I just saw Mike, yellow trucks and all that. And then eventually I kept seeing his videos. It was the one where it was the 30-day challenge. And
Mm-hmm.
when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's hitting the ground like running." Um, at the time, I was doing door knocking for window cleaning when I saw jobs. I was like, "Okay, this actually looks like something that I could do." With like what Mike was doing, like putting out door hangers, hitting the ground running, and yeah, all of that. So I decided to go all in on lawn care because my dad would do it on the side, like on Saturdays. So I was like, it just makes sense. I can't be helping my dad doing window cleaning. I have to like focus on one thing. So that's when I went in and yeah, I mean, eventually we're part of Augusta now, but we did go 1 year with like a brand of our own brand, which was it was Estrella Lawns. It was like green logos, basically copied what Mike did, like yellow star or orange star actually, no. And a whole bunch of branding. So it was all inspiration from Mike.
How much did you help your dad on the side before you joined together to do the lawn care together?
I would help him like so I was in school still. So he would put out I would help him by putting out Craigslist ads, and what's crazy is that we would put like the worst possible ads to attract the worst possible clients
Oh,
because
man.
we would put like outrageous prices as like the hook on the Craigslist ad. Like, are you getting outrageous prices? We'll give you 25% off if you're hesitant to go with us. Or we were putting like cheap lawn care services and stuff, and we were getting a whole bunch of like calls from that. And I would answer the phone during school hours, and my teachers would be questioning like, why is he, going out the classroom every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I would help him during the weekends. I would all day, but there was a moment before I like decided to go all in where he would work throughout the day, like on say like Thursdays, Fridays. We didn't have much. It was just like side work, um, and yeah, I would just help him with like admin. I guess you would consider admin. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So was your dad listening too? Were you trying to get him to listen to Mike and understand kind of your business mentality that was starting to grow?
Yeah, I kind of did mention it to him. I was kind of just well, I would mention it to him, and he wouldn't be on board. There was like since we started with the Straylons, it was just like a name, like it's actually his like middle name.
Mm,
And I mentioned, hey, like, why don't we like get a logo, pay for someone to create us a logo, like that's a star since Estrella is star in Spanish, like that's how you pronounce it. And I also mentioned, hey, like let's paint the trucks like how Mike has it. Like a lot of people will see us, and he was on board. And since I had like window cleaning equipment, I was like, I'm gonna just sell this stuff and pay for painting a truck, pay for getting decals done. And I didn't really get his approval before doing it. I just like decided to pay the
oops.
paint guy and all of that, and we ended up getting the trucks painted. And it just like he wasn't on board with it until we got like a massive job at our church for volunteering, and and we brought our truck there. The only reason they called us was because we didn't come in like in a busted truck that had.
See, there you go.
We came in that Stray Lawns truck, and they saw our number. They saw that like we were helping volunteering for free, and and yeah, they called us. It was in total it was $20,000 job just for volunteering like 4 hours of our time, which is crazy.
100%. That is a great story. That's awesome. So when you came to Summit, how long had you been listening to the content of Mike's?
The first time I went to Summit was 2023. When I saw the 30-day challenge, it was like in June. So it was about like 5, 6 months around there. No,
Mhm.
actually, yeah,
It was
5.
October, I think,
Yep.
that time. Yeah. Okay, so then you went a whole another year and you were at our conference, our summit this last January. And
Mhm.
during that time, you were building the business with your dad with Australia Lawns.
Yep.
And then tell me a little bit about your coming up to the summit and the contest that you entered and something that no one would know about you.
Yeah. So coming to the summit, I was like, we basically started using all of Mike's services. It was like lawn care web design, Copilot, also what else was it? Like we bought some, or with lawn care web design, we got like access to the templates, but yeah, basically using his services, going on the Facebook groups, and people actually started getting annoyed of me because I could tell because I would ask like a whole bunch of questions. It was crazy.
About Augusta or just learning?
Just learning, like in Lawn Care
Hmm.
Millionaires, that one Facebook group
Oh,
that,
yes.
and then
Yes.
thing with like the Copilot CRM, I would ask questions, and people started to like know who Estrella Alonso was because I had that like our profile was that star with green.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was using his services. We were able to grow pretty decently that year. And then it came like December when Mike announced that there was like a competition for MVP award of Copilot, and I
Hmm.
was like, because I like doing things that it makes me look forward to. I like things that yeah, I just like looking forward to doing something or like
Hmm.
competition. So I was like, we got to do this because nobody really asks questions like me on the Copilot group. So I'm probably like the most known there since I always ask questions.
Right.
And yeah, I decided to take a video, plan it out. It was kind of last minute, but um, yeah, we recorded the video, went to Blue Collar, and we won. We won the $10,000 that he was rewarding to the winner.
Were you surprised?
I kind of was and not really too because I was what I did when I got to Blue Collar. I started like shaking everybody's hand that was like as they were walking in, kind of introducing ourselves so they could in with the logo so they could see like us, see us again, and I try to talk to everybody as well.
Very
Kind of
subtle.
kind of planned it out that way everybody could see us and like us before they saw the video.
Hmm.
When it came time, they all vote. Like I don't know how much people voted for us, but we won.
Hmm. So, what was the video like? Was it your story, like a transition through your story with Copilot, and then you blended in what your business has been, and then your journey through Copilot? Is that what it was like?
Yep, it was all of that. Just like throughout the year, the revenue that we hit, how it helped us, how Copilot helped us, and yeah, it was just all in one like professional video.
Yeah, I think it was the story, your story, that made a big difference. And if you could tell me a little bit about your relationship with you and your dad, it's your dad is the owner of the company, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So tell me how that dynamic works out when you're the visionary now. You're the one learning all the new things, which are new to anyone, not let alone like your dad might be into newer things, but all of it is hard to learn.
Yeah.
Let alone taking like all of this business for him to learn these basic things. What it was it like between the two of you?
There's like definitely, or there still is. There's like a lot of butting heads, and
Hmm.
we're we're not. perfect right now. We still go through like the constant like, I don't agree with this. I think this is what's gonna work. Just constant things like that. And
Mhm.
um, I mean, overall, I feel like it might have like affected our relationship, because before it was more like my dad would come back home. We wouldn't really like talk as much, right? We weren't like with each other every single day.
Mhm.
He would go to work because he worked with landscape companies before working together.
Mhm.
So I feel like to a point it did kind of make the relationship, it did affect it, but I mean we're still here, so we've been trying to like get counseling and just try to improve and stuff. But it
Yeah.
overall, we've made progress, but we're still working on like improving that aspect
Yeah.
of it. It is affecting a lot.
How has Copilot been for him?
Copilot he's been using like for when he goes out in field, he does use it to check the jobs, check the notes, things like that. So that's been good. Like he likes it. It's more organized compared to like how he had it like in paper, or memorizing all
Mhm.
the stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been good to an extent. The only thing is like how sometimes things are in English. It makes it a little bit difficult. That's
Yes.
the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So who does the routing and dispatching and all that good stuff?
I do it.
Okay. And does he trust you? Like he kind of understands what you're doing?
Yeah. Sometimes Copilot it's a little bit weird with like optimizing the routes. Like he's told me that he goes to a property and it comes back like literally 2 minutes down the road when he could have,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that will be that way for a while, I'm sure. Yeah. I've lived in the same place for a couple years, and people still can't get there because the way Apple Maps are. So I sent in a revision, and they have fixed it. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So your dad and you now, when you go to work today, like let's say you're out today, would you go
Yeah.
today on routes all day, or would you split up and do separate routes?
Yeah, we have been spreading out because or to this year has been a lot of like hiring and training learning curves.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, me and him go separately. Yeah, with different team members, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. So since you started with Augusta, how many customers have you retained?
Um, Retained or gained? Like,
Well, both. So where were you at the beginning when you were at Australia Lawns and then
yeah.
you transitioned over?
Before we before we joined, like before the spring rush this year, we were like after blue collar, we were about like 90 recurring customers. And then like
Hmm.
as of now, the last time I checked, we were at like 279 recurring customers.
Fantastic. Yeah. And is that because of door hangers or how have you been marketing this year?
Yeah, it's been like a lot of door hangers. We did like 30,000. We actually just finished up the like last 200 yesterday. Yeah,
Fantastic.
so we're done for the season. Um, we did have the goal of getting to like 320, around 323, 300,
Hmm.
but we at least got kind of close.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so you and I had actually talked yesterday and we had talked about the benefits of having the instant quotes and the challenges around that, but that the point was to have ease of access to the customer and speed. And so sometimes you might not have the perfect bid up front,
Yep,
but over time you'll be able to raise their prices and get what you want from them. It's better to get your foot in the door and get the customer.
exactly.
So what is the estimating?
Right, it cut off for a second. No, but I agree to an
Is it your
extent.
dad who does the estimate? Oh, okay. Is it
What
your
was that?
dad? Is it your dad and you who do the estimating? Which one do the estimating?
No, I do all the estimating too. There's been cases or like earlier last year where like I was completely new. I did have experience, but I didn't have the experience fully for
Mhm.
estimating. and I would crazily underbid jobs, and it was just like my dad would get on me about it. But I've gotten better at it over time, which is good. But I
Mm-hmm.
still do all the estimating.
Nice. That's great. So going forward, what is your plan for the rest of this season? You mentioned that you were not trying to actively get more new recurring customers. So is your plan to just maintain these for the rest of the season? And if new ones come in, they do?
Yeah, because we stopped seeing returns with the door hangers like closer to like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we do plan on raising prices in about like 2 weeks or so to the clients that we do have,
Oh,
and
that's good.
staying in profit mode for the rest of the year, to hopefully eventually start like a second location
Mm-hmm.
next season.
Awesome. So when you talk about this kind of thing, is your dad listening to masterminds? Is he listening, watching any of the videos? Is he staying up with the content so that he understands when you talk about growth mode and any of those type things, or is that very frustrating for him?
Yeah, that's one thing is he's not. That's something like that I need to explain. That way, like he's on the same page as we
Mhm.
continue. But right now he's not. It's like mainly just like I absorb the information, I want to implement it, and we kind of butt heads.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So you've just had to learn to have a new kind of angle or finesse or way to present this stuff to him that he will accept it and be willing to have you implement it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So how many guys do you have on your team right now?
Right now we have six, aside from me and my dad, and yeah, it's kind of weird because we have enough to like completely get us out of field, but
Mhm.
we'll have to hop in there because two of them are new and we have to
Right.
pick them up. So it's kind of like awkward.
Mhm.
Yeah, uh,
So you're in Georgia, right? So
I'm in
oh,
Washington.
you're in Washington, right? Yes, I talked to somebody from Georgia yesterday. So the reason I asked is because will you transition into winter services? So you're going to try to keep these same customers and keep busy all year?
Yeah, we'll transition over. We did last year, and I thought a lot of people canceled, but we actually retained like almost all of our clients throughout the winter. Um,
Awesome.
so I feel like we can retain like the majority of the clients we do have right now this
Mhm.
this winter as well.
How does it feel to be a leader of people that maybe are older than you, maybe those that can't speak English and you have to coach? And it's completely different when it's just you managing your own self.
Yeah,
But how has it been for you to have to go into the position of a leader?
yeah, it's been pretty weird sometimes because there's been cases where people get too comfortable, and after I tell them my age, they they start asking for things that they wouldn't typically ask, like say a McDonald's manager or something, or like
Yeah.
anybody else. Um, and I mean, I've learned to just try to not go too much into depth on my like personal life, too much into like
Yeah.
how the way I speak to them. But there's definitely been I've noticed something since I'm pretty young.
Hmm. So you try to establish yourself by leading by example or just, firmly saying this is how we're going to do things, but being kind, but never crossing over into that buddy buddy friendship type relationship.
It's kind of a mix of both. I can't really say like I have like some type of because I need to work on that a lot. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, I try to lead by example. And then that second part that you mentioned, I try that too.
Yeah, that's good. So you mentioned earlier about your dad working with some other landscape companies. How has that worked once he's transitioned to Augusta?
Um,
Are they bid out?
no, so he actually like worked for them as like an employee uh,
Hmm.
before before we started the business.
Okay.
So yeah, that he was always like in that industry. He was there for like 15 years,
Wow.
like, working for someone else and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah,
So
he would
that's
always
gotta feel pretty good for him, doesn't it? To be a little more free and independent?
you that's what he's mentioned it before. Like sometimes he says that it was a little bit more relaxing being with other landscape companies compared to like having your own business. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, there's definitely like the pros and cons because the reason people are like don't have their own business because they have like security, they don't have to worry about specific things. And that's what my dad noticed because we do have a lot of different things that weren't there before we started the business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So going forward, you said that you mentioned that your goal would be a second location. So is that kind of what you're keeping in front of you to completely go into growth mode and grow this thing up to a certain point, and then one of you would start the other one keep maintaining that one, and then just keep going on that way if it works out like that?
Yeah, ideally, but I just know that it's probably something's gonna happen. Like I spoke with my coach Nick, and he mentioned that like it's good that we have that goal, but there's like another learning curve when you start a second location.
Yes.
Like we expect like a general manager to like be ready to go by next season, which is the
Mhm.
learning that I feel like we're gonna go through is a manager's not going to work out. I'm gonna have to stop, trying to grow the second location, focus on making sure the one that we have right now is good. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I feel like is going to happen. But we do plan
Mhm.
to. Our goal is to start a location every single year, like moving forward. Because
Mhm.
I have, my brother, he's in the business, like he's in basically in the business with us. He's a barber, but he makes a decent amount of money to the point where like he wants to invest in like funding locations so I can start them up and just grow them in profit mode, grow profit mode, stuff like that.
Nice. So you'll have some of the capital from him as an
Yeah,
investor. Yeah.
exactly.
So you mentioned earlier that you ask a lot of questions, and I know you did really well last month. What was your revenue last month?
Last month we were about like 67,000 around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you pretty proud of those results?
Uh the I was proud about like having like the um number one ranking on the board, like the dashboard.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
the revenue, like I didn't really like have any emotion towards it. It was just more about like
Mhm.
I got noticed for getting up there on the dashboard.
Yes, that's good. So do you think that you said that you were asking questions almost to the point of annoyance on the one channel, but do you think that that has actually made a huge impact on your business?
Yeah,
Because they weren't random, they're like definite pointed questions. Is that how you feel that you've been most successful?
yeah. There's been some questions that are kind of like um, just dumb to ask, but for the most part, like the questions I've asked have helped me in like the business, and
Mhm.
yeah, just constantly asking them as I feel like has helped. And I would encourage anyone to like ask questions and not be afraid to do it
Mhm.
because yeah, that's what I've seen. It's helped me a lot.
Mhm. And then, you use some services with Command Center, and has that been the same for you? Do you feel like they're there to coach you and help you and stay in the systems and answer questions there as well?
Yeah, the command like the connect team is like amazing because it feels like I'm just texting like I'm out in the field. I want them to do something. I just like send them a voice message or send them a quick text message saying like, "Hey, can we get this covered?" They'll do it. Um, and that's I've been utilizing that the past this spring rush. It's been helpful.
Mhm. Yeah, and one thing we had talked about yesterday is to actually save you money is to make sure, like, your commands over to us are, succinct and dialed in so that you don't have to double double tell us to do something or redo something or things like that. So all of that in the long run is going to make you really a well-rounded owner to be able to help other people, I think. Some who are too embarrassed to ask anything, and you'll be able to watch too for others that, are almost getting too busy in the chats and things, where you can say, hey, it's like the boy who cried wolf. If you keep asking these questions all the time when you have a really legit question, then nobody's going to even pay attention. So I think that you're getting to a balance with those things, and it's really helped you be successful.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Yeah. So what about the community of Augusta? Has that been a huge help to you, or just you don't need it?
No, that I actually when I initially booked a call with Lee in July last year, I didn't join after that, but um, there was a lot of people because I asked franchisees at the time, like, hey, what's really good about Augusta, and they mentioned the community, and then Mike would mention it in his videos, like the community is what makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of it like, is it really the community? Like, is it? I feel like it's more like the instant quotes, the website, the command center, things like that. But as I'm in here for like a couple months, I've noticed that it just feels a lot better having like that community because there's WhatsApp groups that I can reach out to, and
Mm-hmm.
like everybody's like in the same boat, and there's like specific group chats that certain revenue businesses are in only,
Mm-hmm.
and we're always asking. I'm always in there, asking questions and just communicating with other franchisees, and it just feels great because you don't because there's been points where I felt like super lonely and just like it's like, oh my gosh, this is even like is this like what Mike says, like it's not, you feel like it's not worth it or it's just super stressful. um,
Mm-hmm.
but having the group chats and having the community has helped a lot because I can just reach out to them, and then it's just great. Like I initially I thought it was like it's not even all that, but it is like it's what makes being a part of Augusta worth it for
Mm-hmm.
me.
So you're the one being a part of the community and getting all the benefits of it and things. And you said like your dad doesn't listen to the masterminds or be all involved like that. But how would it benefit him to just be on the chats, even if he didn't communicate, to watch how you interact and how people help each other and the kinds of questions they ask? Would he be willing to be a silent person, even if he'd never communicated, on like the Washington State chat or something?
That would be a good idea. That way he could get like his foot in the door and seeing like what they're talking about, maybe like what he sees I'm talking about. He would see that other franchisees are talking about the same thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like it would benefit. I'm glad you brought that up. Like I might just have him join, and so you can, maybe use Google Translate or something to understand what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, something, anything, because he'll start to get hooked and he'll be like, if he doesn't want to, he'll say, can you ask on the chat this or that?
exactly.
And then he will see you, my dad's asking this. And then he'll see all of the guys be so supportive and respond to that. And then he'll start getting sucked
Yeah,
in.
yes, sir. Yeah, exactly. I like the idea, Liz.
So is there anything you listen to that is inspiring, that helps you be the person you want to be? Mostly music, or what do you listen to?
No, I don't listen to anything. Which I hear a lot of people that like they listen to podcasts, music throughout the day, but there's just a lot of stuff going on that I
Mhm,
not focus. Like there's like an email every couple minutes, and yeah, I don't listen to anything other than like watching like the turnarounds, Mike's content,
mhm.
stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
that's good. That's focused.
yeah, yeah, that's about it. And then because eventually I feel like I will listen to audiobooks or just stuff.
Mhm,
Right now, what's working for me is asking questions, and on the group chats and watching Mike's videos. So I'm gonna just keep it simple and just continue to do that.
mhm. So you've been with Augusta how long? Because you joined after Summit, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I got
Yes.
sold by Mike.
Yes, you
Promoting
did.
up there.
So
But
was it February?
It was February. I went to training mid-February.
Okay, and now we are not quite to June, so you're
Yeah.
killing it, man, these first few months. Way to go.
Yeah, and I'm glad I'm part of the community.
Well, that's awesome, and it's wonderful to have you, and it'll be great to people for us to do this again in the next season, and you tell us how it all went through this one, how it wrapped up, how it went into winter services, the growth between you and your dad in the business. The more he can be inspired and pulled in without communication with you, getting it from other places, then he'll start to have a lot of respect for you that you're
Yeah. What I
implementing
avoid
all these
too,
things. And
exactly, Liz. What I feel like might be like the turning curve for my dad is like we do plan to raise prices, and that's one of his concerns with things in the business is like he feels like we're losing money and stuff because we're
Mhm.
good door hanger pricing on there. But when we transition into profit mode and we start seeing like all this profit coming in, and when we raise prices, when we see that barely any customers leave, um, he's probably going to be on the same page because right now his thought is like when you raise prices, you're putting a good price on the door hanger, and when you raise prices, everybody's going to leave. Like you're going to come down to zero customers.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what
but
everybody thinks.
yeah, that's what everybody thinks. So when that happens, when we raise prices and we only lose like 5-10% of customers, that's going to be like the turning point of like, okay, he's probably is learning something that actually works and that I should,
Mhm.
consider he's mentioning we should do. Um, and hopefully, ideally, that's what happens. Like in 2 weeks, he sees that nobody leaves. We start making more profit, and yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, I appreciate your time today. One last thing, could you give some advice to someone that was in your position who they're starting to listen to content and become more business minded, grow their business acumen, and they're seeing the vision of what could be, but they're maybe working for somebody else. And how do you feel like they could kind of bring themselves under that lead from where they are and not be discouraged to start this big thing that you just started?
Yeah, what I would say is don't waste time trying to figure out if you want to do something. Just do it because, like, we were like, if we had joined Augusta, say, I'm using Augusta as an example for this, but if we had joined like in July of last year, we might have been somewhere like much higher than where we're at now. Um, so like in the case like someone that wants to join Augusta and they're waiting or something,
Mhm.
I would just do it. But you don't have to because if nobody joins, then that allows me to make more locations and create more business. So that's perfect for me if you don't want to join. So it's a
That's
win.
terrible. Well, they could be on the other side of the US and
Oh
buy
yeah,
a
in that
location.
case, yeah. But
You shouldn't feel threatened by that, but yeah, I guess don't mess with Vancouver, Washington,
yeah,
right?
don't go around it. Don't go to Portland. Don't no, we're gonna create locations there.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I thank you for your time today, and I'm sure this will help and encourage a lot of people.
Yep, I appreciate it, Liz.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.